Hello guys, so there were many requests for me to make the question or solve this question as well, because here the area is given, but what area to use, like circular or square, that is not given. So that is a question. So how you can solve this type of sum using the answers APDL, I'll show you that. So we have done a similar kind of sum where only area is given using link elements for the truss, right? So that is the only logic behind this. We'll be using link elements here instead of beam elements for that kind of sum. Okay, so I'll go into preference, I'll set structural, I'll click on OK. I'll go into preprocessor, element, add. Now here instead of adding beam elements, I'll add link elements, and this will be the same. I'll click on OK. Okay, and I'll close this. Now I'll have to add material to the link. So I'll go into material models, structural, linear, elastic, not orthotropic. I'll go into isotropic. The EX is 2 into e power 05, right? 2e05, and the PRXO, I think it's not given, but let me just check. Yeah, so the PR, so it's given in 2 into 10 power 5 megapascal, and this is given in GPa, so you have to keep that in mind. So we have to add two materials because two materials are given here, right? So P is not given. What is P? That is Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio is not given, so we'll be keeping it as 0.25 according to our choice. Okay, and this is the first material. We have to define another material, so I'll go into material, I'll add new model and give it as material ID 2, that's okay. And here also I'll add isotropic, and this is 7 into e power 04. Now why 04? Because this is 70 GPa, so if you convert GPa to MPa, it has a conversion ratio of 10 power 3, and if there was 200, I would use these two zeros for 10 power 5, right? Now since there is a single zero, I'll use 10 power 3 plus into 10, and that gives me 10 power 4. So hence we'll be using 7 into e power 04. Okay, and the Poisson's ratio is not given, so I'll use it as 0.25. I'll click OK. I'll close this and I'll go back to my APDL tab. See, so now your materials are defined. Now you have to define the section. In section, you have to add the area of the link. So also means in beam we used to add different kinds of sections, right? So here we will be adding link kind of sections. So in link, I'll click on add. Section ID, I'll keep it as 50 because the area is 50 millimeter square, so I can remember it better. And it asks for link area, so that will be 50 millimeter square. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and the section name will be 50 as well. And I'll click. Wait, I'll cancel this. Sorry. I'll go into add. I'll keep this section ID as 1, and this will be as 50, and this will be as 50 as well, because this will be the name of the section, right? So I'll click on OK. Okay, this is the first kind of problem, and the second one will be adding another data for the area, second area, and I'll click on OK. And this area is 25 in the question. See, it's 25. I'll just erase the some of the cloudiness. So this is 25 given. Okay, so I'll keep this as 25, and the area asked, this is the area, I'll give it as 25 again, and I'll click OK. So now we have two links, two materials, and it's a link type of element. So now we go into modeling. Okay, modeling will create key points in active CS. I'll give the key point number 1 as 0, 0 and 0. I'll click apply. So first key point is created. Now the second key point is 80 mm from this point. So x coordinate changes to 80, other two remains the same, and the number goes to 2. I'll click apply, and now I'll create the third element, that is 80 plus 60, that is 140 from the origin. So I'll give the x coordinate as 140, and this will be third. I'll click on OK. So as you can see, 1, 2 and 3, all the three elements are added, right? So now all the three elements are added. Now we have to join them. How do we join? Since you have to mesh this, so you have to think of meshing the lines, right? Because this is a line element and 1D element. So 1D element that needs to be meshed. So I'll go into line, I'll select straight line and select these 2 points and then these 2 points, and I'll click OK. So now this is our sample problem, so it disappears. So you know the procedure. Go into multiplots. You can see the line again. Okay, so now what you'll do is you have modeled it. Now the next step is to mesh it. So I'll go into mesh tool. This is of one material and one cross section area. So we have to set this in global parameters. Go into set link. It's a link type of element. It has section number of 50, that is 50 millimeter square, and the material number is 1. You have to remember that is 200 GPa wala. Okay, so I'll click on OK. I'll go into line and set the number of elements. So oopsie, I forgot to select the element. So I'll go into line, click on set. I'll select this line and click on apply. So now it asks me what will be the element edge length or number of divisions. I'll set the number of divisions to 10 and I'll click OK. So now this line has been created. I'll use Alt Tab to bring back my mesh window, and here what you have to do is now change the global material to no, before changing, do one thing. Before changing, mesh this element. Go into mesh, select this element and click OK. So now this element is meshed, but the other part disappears. So you know the procedure. Go into plot and multiplot. Okay, so you get the whole part again. Now what you have to do, you have to mesh this part with the other material properties, the second material property. So you will go into set, you will click one, you will change 1 to 2 and 50 to 25, and I'll click on OK. Right, now this is the 25 wala section, and you have to again make it divided into 10 elements or whatever elements that you need. I'll click it on 10 and click OK or apply, whatever. So I'll use again Alt Tab to bring my mesh window back, and yeah, so now this needs to be meshed. So I'll click on lines and mesh and select this and click on OK. So now the whole thing is meshed. If you want to check, you go into plot and multiplots, and you can see there are two lines which are meshed itself. So you can also check what cross section it has given. What do you think it will be? If you have guessed it right, it should be squarish kind of element. I click on OK. Yeah, I'll just turn on the ISO view. So you can see it has given a square kind of element. It is fine because the calculation doesn't need the cross section exactly, because the forces are axial. So the cross section doesn't matter in this case. So even if it gives it as circular, that would have been fine as well. So I'll just close the style, size and shape, because I have to work on it ahead, and OK. So I'll just turn on the side view. Yeah, now after meshing, we have to apply the loads. Okay, so load, define load, apply structural displacement. Now displacement descent is fixed, so displacement on key points. Now which key point? This key point. I'll click on apply. It will ask for which displacement has to be 0, means which degrees of freedom has to be constrained. So all degrees of freedom has to be constrained to 0, and I'll click on OK. So this is constrained now. Now you have to give force on this point and this point. So we'll see which forces are given. So P2 is compressive, means it's towards the left, and that is 5 kilonewton, means that is 5000 Newton, and P1 is towards the right, and that is 10 kilonewton, that is 10,000 Newton. So now I'll go into force and I'll click on key points. Now you don't know exactly where the key point lies, so go into plot controls, numbering, key point element number on, and click on OK. So you can see now 2 and 3. So I'll just bring my tab back. I think it has disappeared. No. Okay, I'll close this thing. I'll go into force on key points. Yeah, so this tab appears, and now I have to select which key point. So this key point, I'll click apply. It asks which direction. So it should be fx, but it will be minus 5000 because it's acting toward the left. Okay, so I'll click on OK, and yeah, you can see a force acting towards the left. Now I'll again select on key points. I'll select the third key point. I'll click on apply, and it will ask me which direction. So it will be again fx, but 10,000 and positive, because it is acting towards the right. Okay, 1 2 3 4, yeah, and I'll click OK. So the two forces are acting. Now what you have to do is your force excel, the force parameters are ready. So just close this thing. I'll go into solution now, solve this current ls. OK, and solution is done. So solution is done. Go into general, not time history, my bad. Go into general post processing, go into nodal solution and x component of displacement, and click on OK. Yeah, So you can see this side is displaced the most because there is a force acting on it, and this side is under compression, so no such there is a marginal displacement in this line. Okay, so now I'll also go into elemental solution to show you the stress, and it will be 1 Meissner stress, and I'll click on OK. So here it doesn't show, so you have to just turn the element size and shape on to see the stresses generated. Display of element, turn it on and click OK. Yeah, so you can see this is under two types of stress generated. Here it's tensile, but the magnitude is low, but here the magnitude is high, and that is 400. Okay, so try using calculation, the analysis, theoretical analysis, and you will find these values to be in sync. Okay, so that was the first practical, guys, and thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye bye.